I know we all enjoy the excitement of any sporting event, whether you're there live in person or just watching it on television. There have been times where I hear people ask, wow, how do you make that catch or how do you hit that ball so far? Well, today I will be explaining different types of athletes and physically demanding sports. There are three sports in specific I will cover today. First we have football, then baseball, and then basketball. Let's first start off with our first sport and probably one of the most physical. Football is for everybody. There are many different types of leagues and different levels of play as well. Whether you have full contact football or flag football, two-hand touch football, so many different kinds. Football is a full contact sport, which at some points may be dangerous. Football players are constantly getting hit and tackled while running at full speeds, which cause big collisions. For example, approximately a month ago, there was a two-lane defensive back who was coming up to make a tackle on a running back. I forgot the other school, but he came up and he led with his head. So when he hit with his head, you see his head hit and then his neck just go like this, and he ended up suffering a broken neck. Whether it's college football or NFL, football seasons tend to be long and may have strenuous effects on the body as well. This requires athletes to be personally fit, and also a lot of stamina and endurance. There are many different types of exercises and are training to build stamina, strength, and endurance, whether it's sprints, weightlifting, and stretching, which is key as well. Many injuries can be sustained from playing football. I know from personal experience, when I played for my squadron, I'm injury prone, so I would tear ligaments in my ankle all the time, which kept me out for the whole season actually. And there's other injuries where you may miss 2 or 3 days and you'll be back on the field in no time. Our second sport that we focus on is baseball. Baseball may not look like a physically demanding sport, but in actuality it is. Although baseball is not a full contact sport per se, the length and quality of games can still take a toll on an individual. For example, Major League Baseball players play approximately 150 games per season. Most games are back-to-back. For example, you'll have a game Monday, and that whole series will stretch to either Thursday or Friday with no breaks. And sometimes you have to travel from city to city within those games as well. Baseball is not an easy sport. Many of the skills of baseball, just as the same with football, may take years to develop. I know when I played baseball when I was younger, and then when I got to high school, I still had skills to polish on, and then I played 4 years of high school baseball, and after that I still needed more practice, and it comes with time. That's with all sports. Many baseball players, whether pro or collegiate, attend various training camps to help with hitting and fielding to polish up their skills, which is good because, you know, if you play one sport and then you stop, or you stop anything you're good at for a long period of time, you need to get it going again. So it's good to have these camps to practice in your off time. Now that we've covered football and baseball, one last sport I would like to cover is basketball. Basketball is a physically demanding sport that not only involves skill, but is a great example of HIIT training. HIIT training stands for high interval intensity training, which is important for building endurance. And if you need an example of HIIT training, it can be just like if you're running around a track, for example, you'll run the curves, and then you'll sprint the straightaways, and then run the curves again, and then sprint again. That's an example of HIIT training. NBA players, on average, play approximately 82 games per season, and this is not including the playoffs. Including all the traveling and back-to-back games, the sport can be strenuous as well, just like baseball and football. Games are usually 4 quarters with 15 minutes each. I mean, of course, you have timeouts and breaks in between, but it can still cause fatigue on the players as well. Similar to football and baseball, basketball also has specific training to help individuals better develop their skills. The NBA, which I really like, has a developmental league for college players. If the coach or staff feel that the college player coming out of college that got drafted is not per se top-notch, then he'll go to developmental league for a certain amount of time, and then he'll polish up his skills, practicing, building his endurance, and then he'll come back to the team, which is good because you're still part of the team, but you know, you're still practicing and everything, still working hard. The Goodman Round Ball Summer Classic allows NBA superstars, while during their off season, play in the league, and they'll play other NBA stars or other guys that just play basketball, college kids as well. which is really good because you don't want to just stop what you're doing. You want to keep practicing and keep getting better, which is demanding because all these sports take practice year round. Let's take a look back at what we discussed today. We have talked about 3 sports in specific. I know there's more, UFC, boxing, etc. But I hope I have given you some insight on the physical factors that it may take to play a certain sport. I cannot specifically say that one sport is more physically demanding than the other, but in certain aspects more may be required. But one thing I can say for sure is that practice, conditioning, training, and skills are all a necessity to excel while playing any type of sport.